2004年，被称为建筑界诺贝尔奖的普利兹克奖授予了扎哈·哈迪德，她也成为该奖项有史以来第1位女性获奖人。评审委员会在获奖理由中写道：客户、记者和专业人士都为她建筑中充盈的动感和独特的形式而着迷，她的创意似乎无穷无尽。然而，获得人们认可的道路上，扎哈却走得倍加艰辛，因为她的性别，也因为她的种族。1950年，扎哈·哈迪德出生于伊拉克首都巴格达一个殷实的家庭，父亲是有名的商人及政治家。开明的家庭氛围和当时伊拉克开放的社会环境，让年少的扎哈得以自由地成长。10岁的时候，他告诉父母，自己要成为一名建筑师。
There were many more women doing architecture when I was in Iraq than maybe abroad. There was much more liberal. I went to university. That was not a cocoon life. No, came from a very liberal background.
Family, yeah.
Family. My father was a well-known economist and a politician, and industrialist, and that's why he believed in progress as well. And I took that from him. My mother was a very strong personality, and they're both very strong. But that didn't overwhelm me, because I think maybe because I was the youngest, and
so you had more freedom.
I think my early years in Iraq was very important because it was at the time that we had a revolution, and the idea of there was an issue of identity, and politics became very central to our lives. So we had to. We had to, even as a child, you had to sort of understand a bit what's going on. And I used to travel to Europe every summer, so I saw another world.
But was your mother concerned that you lived unorthodox and unconventional
she
personal life?
That was very important. Both my parents trusted me. They thought, although I was a bit, kind of not wild, sort of crazy, but they knew that I was quite strong, and they didn't think I will do anything wrong. Or I'll get into a hassle or whatever. And so they supported me, and then I came to boarding school, then I went back to Beirut, then I came to study in London. Yeah, I had a lot of support from all of them. So that was very important.
You once said that it's the well-being of the people who live in your buildings that is a major interest for you.
I think that architecture is about well-being. I mean, I think that if you take everything away, the form, the everything, you have to feel good in a project. You have to feel good in a space, whether it's outdoor, indoor. And that's what I call well-being. I mean, fundamentally, architecture is about shelter. I think that we still have part of that modernist dream, which is we have to build good housing, we have to have good schools, good medical institutions.
So that's a different perspective, because to many people they would think those architects only thinking about their artistic desires.
You have to think about
everything. Right?
You have to think about all these things. I mean, I think that life has changed. For example, in China, it's no longer only about production. Some people they wake up, go to work, and come back and sleep. But what is changing is that people go to work, but also they have some free time. They might want to go shopping, they might want to go to a concert, they might walk down a nice street or go to the park.
So what would you do to make sure that the people living in or visiting your buildings would have better well-being,
No, I'm just saying that's why I think space making is very important. To make a great space, because not everyone in the world is privileged to travel and see some great wonders. Not everybody. No. And that's why it's very important that there's something in your locale that you can go and visit and enjoy, without paying a lot of money or the plane fare or whatever it is. I think that's why people have to invest in great architecture.
上世纪60年代末，伊拉克爆发革命，扎哈的父亲带着全家逃离巴格达。 1972年，22岁的扎哈独自来到伦敦，前往著名的建筑协会学习，师从雷姆·库哈斯。扎哈曾这样描述他在伦敦的日子：我记得刚到伦敦的时候，感觉自己完全就是一个流离失所的局外人，和整个环境格格不入。我猜测，大概是因为我穿的衣服和做事的方式与别人不同，以至于大家完全忘记我到底是做什么的了。
You have the support system.
You have a support system,
Yeah.
and I think that.
But you were quite alone.
Yeah, so I think that that's why women actually manage to survive in this situation. In the West, it's much more difficult.
然而，更为艰难的日子还在后头。1994年，扎哈·哈迪德获得威尔士卡迪夫歌剧院竞标冠军，但他的方案却最终被当局放弃。扎哈承认，卡迪夫的挫败曾给予他很大的打击。那时候，他甚至重新考虑自己是否应该继续留在建筑界。
What was the biggest setback to you in terms of your career?
Well, I think that the Cardiff Opera House was a very big setback. We did a competition for the Cardiff Opera House.
Yeah.
In 2 stages. We won the first. They shortlisted out the first stage, so there were 8, and then we won outright the second phase, and then they went through a 3rd phase, but it became a very big news story, and they didn't want a foreigner. But I think it's because the work was not what they expected it to be. They wanted something else.
So the panel give the
panel
give the award to you.
Me,
Yes.
The politicians did not want me to have it.
So what kind of lesson did you learn from that?
Because it was so much in the news, it was in the papers every day, on TV, in the national press and national press. Everybody knew about me. And also many people were very angry about it, that I was treated this way. So I gained a lot of support from people, but they couldn't do anything about it. And I think that
so it's both a curse and blessing at the same time.
At the same time. And they didn't say we don't like her. They just said we can't give the Millennium Project money, which was, I really think, pretty outrageous when I look back. After that, it was very dark. Because
How dark?
Well, very bad. With no work, everybody knew about it. It was very nasty. And everybody thought I will give up. But I made a very conscious decision maybe a month after to say, I'm not going to let this put me down or stop me. I made a conscious decision to make the next competition. And I knew at the time that I will not win anything for a while, but I will try.